my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I'm joined with my good friend Mark Olroy, the British connection of this show, where we're the price variance, and we are looking at the hottest Silver Age books of the week. This is a kind of a special hot list for us because it's the signature auction. We actually delayed recording this just so that the auction can complete and we could get all the results all in. These are the biggest sales. I mean, these are the big sales of the week, maybe of the year. They're just huge sales. Let's get into it. What's the first one, Mark?
Okay, so you're going to see a lot of usual suspects this week,
A lot
guys.
of usual suspects. I mean, they're the biggest books. What do you expect?
So we're starting. Oh, what are we starting with, Alan? We're starting with this one.
Yeah. So what you're going to see is high grades of expensive books
At high prices.
at high prices. I'm actually curious because I did the same thing in the golden age, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The same kind of like
Right.
looking at the top sales. These are the biggest sales. Like I just went by the
Yeah,
pure dollar amount.
The top 10 sales, yeah.
Top 10 sales. And it was a hit or miss. It was like there was a Batman, for example, that went down half.
Woo.
That a Detective 27 went down half. It went from 1.1 to 600,000.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
major haircut.
if
So
I'd
I'm
have said
curious about
600,000, I'd have been very upset by that.
yes. I mean, so somebody got a steal on that one. But I'm curious if we'll see the same kind of pattern in these Silver Age ones because Silver Age have been weak for a while. Will we see the same pattern with these big
What I would
books?
say before we go into this, Alan, is that although, as on a general note, the market is weak, the Silver Age market has been weak, we have
Mhm.
seen that unique comics with small populations
Have
have,
done well.
have done well. Um,
Mhm.
what you're seeing here is comics right at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but when I'm seeing this price, for me, I'm actually thinking this seems low. This
It
I'm
seems
just
low
looking
to
at
me
this
as
first
well.
one.
This one is definitely, I think this one, I really
I
surprised
would have thought this was like $100,000 book kind of level.
when this came up as the first comic. I thought surely Avengers 9 in a 9.0 is worth more than 37,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like at these high grades, it kind of there's a price per point thing. You can sort of say, oh, if it's a 6.0, it's worth about 12,000, something like that. Where there's kind of like a standardized
I mean,
pricing.
it's a beautiful copy. I'm never going to see a copy of Avengers #1 that looks like this. Look at it.
I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, it is everything and what you would expect in a nine.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's got a couple of spine ticks.
yeah, well, that's why it's a nine.
Yeah,
Those are around the staple too. You can see that those are
yeah.
staple
They are,
stresses,
that's
what is
stable.
what they're called,
There's
right?
a slightly dented corner here, so maybe they've been slightly generous with this, but yeah.
No, I'd say that's a 9.0. Like it
Okay.
looks like a nine. It's
Okay.
only around that one staple. It's really good.
So
Um,
7,000, Alan.
I would have guessed 100,000
Oh,
would have been my
okay.
guess.
All right. Wow. Wow. Well, it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's down.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
I
So
mean,
what
it's
were
down. The last sale was in 2022, which was COVID,
okay,
at 48. So this coming at
okay,
37 post COVID. It's back where it was in 2019.
okay? That's not too bad at all. For some reason I felt like this. I don't know why. Like a 9.0 seems like such a high grade, and I know how expensive they are at low grades. There's just I guess it's just not as dramatic of a climb at that top end, I guess.
Yeah, so this is down a bit. Um, but it's not horrendous.
Okay,
It's back
okay.
to where it was pre-COVID, basically.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean that's very interesting. So the top price for this one was like 50,000 or for just under
61.
50, 61.
61, right in the middle of COVID, May 2020. So
And that was the height of like, Infinity War and all that stuff too. Like just that had just ended and
Yeah,
people were kind of
yeah,
hyped about it.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
still think that's a good price. I think that's a good price. I think somebody's got a good price there, and that's a smart buy. Because when
Okay.
I look at some of these other comics and I go, would I prefer Avengers 1 in a 9.0 or these comics? I think I would virtually always go for the Avengers 1. But anyway, here we
Yeah.
so second up, we have got a comic that has been quite resistant to the price declines fairly consistently while we've been reviewing this. It's Hulk #1. Partly the
Yeah.
reason it's been more resistant is it's a lower population than some of these other ones. Uh,
So this one is an interesting one. I was actually somewhat a little bit surprised by this one that it is the grade it is.
yeah, the colour's a
It
bit
does
faded.
not, it doesn't look very good.
No, is the colour faded, Alan? Has it got some? It's a bit faded.
So it just looks off.
Yeah, it's a popping, isn't it?
Like it looks yellowy instead of I almost feel like I have to grab my copy. It's not, it looks like off. The tones are wrong.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I agree.
Um, but so yeah, so the one thing that they say with CGC is that when they grade the comic, it is the grade at that moment of grading. Now, what you do with the comic later, you could put it out in the sun or do something silly to it, then it could affect the grade. So this looks like kind of that situation where it's not necessarily the grade that it says it is.
Well, when was this graded?
Because it looks really like yellowy to me, or just off the colors. I don't know.
I mean, it's not an old label.
Yeah, I know. It just for some reason, just maybe it's the picture. I don't know. It's just it looks off.
Anyway, let's see if it gets an off price. So nearly 40,000 for a 6.5.
Hmm.
Right. Well, it's actually better than the last sale. So the last sale in October of last year was 34,000. So it's up on that. Where is it versus pre-COVID? It's a bit up on pre-COVID.
Okay, so that's good. But it's not
Well,
near that
there's
peak.
a 30, no, there's a 44,000 sale there just before COVID. So yeah, and there's a 46,000 there. So it's a bit lower than COVID.
And that peak was like
Oh, the
60,000 or
peak was
something insane.
huge. The peak was 78, 70, 78, 90, 90. The peak was 90.
Wow. So this one like wasn't as resistant
No, this
as
one
some of
has
the
not
other
been
ones.
as resistant to some of the other ones we've looked at.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So yeah. So it's
So I think
again.
you're right. I think other people have thought the same as you, Alan, and that doesn't look like a great copy.
Yeah, but at the same time, it held its own.
Well, it is up
It's
on the
not
previous
down. It's up. It's actually up.
up on the previous sale. Yeah.
So it seems like we've like based on these. I'm only basing this sentence on the first two ones that we looked at. It looks like we've hit the floor, and now we're kind of coming up off that
I have
floor.
to say I'm not claiming it coming off the floor. I'm I still think we're hovering there, and
Well, yeah, I like
we're
to
also
put
looking at
ideas out there.
a very rarefied population here. Right. So
Okay.
this one
So
amazed me.
yeah, I thought this was a big sale actually.
But I looked at this and I said, hang on a minute, an X-Men 6
Yeah.
more selling for more than an Avengers 1.
Well, it's a 9.8.
Well, yes. Okay, and that's obviously what's done it. How many 9.8s of this are there?
I have no idea.
I
But
bet.
this one, it's a 9.8. It's the first crossover with the Submariner and the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's the key. I don't know any other key about it.
Yeah, it's not quite
It's
as key as
early.
Avengers 1 though, is it?
No, it isn't. But it's just a high grade early X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, a
Um,
9.8. They can't, but how many of
does
the
it say anything in the notes that it's also like a grade anything else other than that what I just said? And the second appearance of the League of
Submarine appearance, Cyclops pinup. That's it.
Okay, so nothing, yeah, nothing special.
So let's have a look. Well, there's only six. Well, there's still one sold in 2012 for $13,000. No, for
So it's way up.
9,000. So it's a record.
Yeah. I mean, actually, this is a very strong record at that too. It's up like 4 times.
Yeah, it is. But
So
there's six. So what I would say on this, Alan, is there's six 9.8s. This is the first one to come up in 12 years. You know, the
yeah,
people who've got these are not short of a few quid, and they're not letting go of them.
yeah,
So if you want this, you either buy it now or you wait another 12 years.
yeah. I have a feeling though, sometimes it's the case that there's these big sales of these kind of books, then a whole bunch will come to market because people are like, oh, okay, it's a good time to sell. You know, and they flood the market. Well, they can't
Well,
really flood it
yeah,
too
well,
much, but
I don't think we're going to get a flood because there's only six of them.
a dribble on the market. Um, so yeah, but very interesting. How about the 9.6? Usually you can use like the idea that a 9.6 should sell 2 to 3 times cheaper, if that makes sense.
Wow. Okay. Oh, this has
Oh
gone up.
wow,
This one.
that's gone up crazily too.
Yes, it has.
But
So
that's a 2021 sale.
was, and this is out of COVID, was
What year is that? Sorry,
23, June
oh, that's
23.
23. It looks like, okay, I'm doing this on my phone. So people that are watching this, I'm slightly blind in terms of reading those small digits, okay?
So this was out of COVID. So this is obviously a hot book because that
But
was up
why?
7,000. That actually, this has gone up from the COVID peak.
Wow. And what did it sell for?
It sold for 20,533.
So this is in that 2 to 3 times,
Yeah.
based on the 9.6.
So
This is
it's
exactly where
that
you
40,000 sale is in line with that 20,000 sale, is what we're saying.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So this is actually a pretty good sale. Like
Yeah.
it kind of verifies that
Well,
other
for
crazy
some reason,
sale.
this book has gone extremely hot.
I have no idea why. It
Me,
could be, people just want to get those early X-Men.
yeah, yeah,
Get your 1 through 10 or 1 through 20 or 1 through 100 or whatever it
yeah.
is.
Could be, could be. Okay.
What's the census on it? Just quickly. Just what's
Oh,
the
it's
census?
not going to be huge, is it? Oh, yeah, it's quite big. 2,000.
Yeah, I mean that's the same level as Hulk 1.
Yeah, they said, but there's only six 9.8s and 29 sixes. So
The low high grade
yeah,
census.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, very interesting.
Right, on to another of our favorites.
Uh, this is a pedigree as
Here's
well.
a pedigree. It's a Savannah pedigree. We've had a Savannah pedigree before, Alan, on here.
Yeah, I should really look up what the Savannah pedigree is. I don't know what it is.
It probably came from Savannah, I'm guessing.
That would be my guess too.
It's the
So
perseverance of Barry Allen.
yes, the
Um,
first Silver Age Flash,
yes.
and it's the first Silver Age book
And
as
it's a
well.
rare cut. This is rare.
Rare and especially in this high grade.
Yeah,
It's like
high grade.
this is high grade. I know it sounds like a weird one to say. Oh, this is a high grade. No, this is actually high grade for this book.
It is a high grade for this book. And it sold for
It's a
40.
very odd case, by the way. It looks almost like a conserved.
I know it's got that sort of silver. I thought they had a gold label if they were pedigree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So why's it got a silver label?
I have no idea. That's why I just thought that was interesting.
Right.
Maybe it's the old label for the
Okay,
pedigree.
42,000 is up. That's a record.
Nice. I'm getting a lot of records this week.
That's a record. It's a pedigree,
Mhm.
which I think is probably why it's gone to be a record.
Yeah, but let's
It's up
look.
about 5,000 on the year average.
Can you look in the past records if there was the sale of the same book? Like, do you see any in the any of the pictures that look like the same book?
Hang on.
I sometimes do that
What's the
just to
number?
find it.
What's the number on the
Well, look, I always just look for the pedigree, you know,
Right. Okay. Hang on a minute. Sorry.
just by the picture, right?
Yes,
So
this has been sold twice before. Um, yeah. So this sale here, I think, was the same comic.
is it?
Well, it's 424. Oh no, it's not because it's not pedigree.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a pedigree. So you
No,
know,
I haven't. No, I can't see that pedigree in the historical sales.
okay. So yeah, pedigrees usually get a little bit more money. Um, and maybe an extra 20%, 10 to 20%, depending on how interesting the pedigree is.
Yeah. So that's a good five grand for the pedigree there. Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that actually has a really low census count, like 600.
It's low. Yeah, 600. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, it's really, I mean, just for the Silver Age, that's a really low census.
Yeah, I mean there are less copies of this in a 6.0 than there were of the last comic in a 9.4, 9.6.
No, no, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it shows you how high, like, that's why I said it's a high grade,
Yeah.
because it's it's like it's comparable to that higher grade
Yeah.
in terms of census.
Right. I've not actually seen this on, but I don't think we've ever had one of these on here.
I
Alan.
think we had,
Yeah.
this is the first Kid Flash and the Weathermaster, right?
Certainly the work for, let's have a look. First appearance of Kid Flash and the first, yeah,
Yep.
you're exactly right. And the Weather Wizard,
Weather Wizard.
Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought this was cool just because he's like doing the arm thing. As a kid, I always wanted to do that.
Hang
I
on.
didn't
Now
you ever do that?
you always criticize that cover with Thor where his hammer is going round like that, and you say that's not possible. I'm surely that's not possible either.
No, it's totally possible. I did it as a kid all the time, and it was cool. Like I would control the weather. It's sort of like the butterfly effect. Um,
Right. Um, Kid Alan, very similar to Kid Flash. Right.
mhm.
So, um, it's a 9.6. I mean, goodness me. From
Yeah, beautiful cover.
1959. Is this my birthday book?
You should have picked it up if it
No,
is.
it's not. It's a few months too late. Uh, right. Yeah, I'm still not picking it up at 49,000. It is my birthday book. Right. Well, how do we think this is done, Alan?
I would say it did well, personally, because DC didn't really get the COVID.
Well, it's a record because one's never sold. There's only one.
This
This is the
is a
only 9.6 of this comic. I think it might be the
It
highest.
sold for infinite more than ever before.
Right. It's the highest graded of this comic, and it's never sold before. There you go. It's a record.
Wow,
But
it's
it
a
could have
record.
sold for $5 and it would have been a record.
Okay, so the only way to figure out if it was a good sale or not is compare it
There's no
to a
nine
nine
fours
four.
either. There are no
Oh
nine
wow,
fours either.
is there a 9.8?
No, no, it's the highest
Oh,
graded comic
oh wow, so that's interesting. So it's the highest graded,
by a
never
long
sold
way, by a
before.
long way, because there are no nine fours either.
Yeah. And what does the 9.2 sell for?
The 9.2 last sold for 19,000.
So this is about three times that,
Yeah, I think it might have gone for more than
like
that
two to
because
three
it's
times. Yeah.
completely great. It's right at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, you get that weird kind of thing. Usually what I say is like a doubling effect, right? Um, Interesting. So that's a very strong sale.
Yeah,
It just sort of confirms this other, like if you look at this 9.2 sale, that was actually a strong sale.
it was. Yeah, yeah.
I think you just don't see this
Although
book
that
that
was a
often.
COVID sale.
Yeah, but this in a way is in line with the COVID sale.
It is. Yeah, yeah.
So what's the census on this and
Well, there's
like
only 709 of them.
so it's almost like the other Flash,
Yeah,
the
well, it's
Showcase 8,
there's less higher grades of it.
the
There's
Showcase 4.
that 9.6 is the highest grade.
Wow. Wow. I mean, and it is a one of one on the census.
One of one, yeah.
Wow. So that's, that's what happens. If you have the best copy and it doesn't sell very often, you're going to get a record when you sell
Yeah,
it.
well, the only problem is now with CGC, somebody's going to wander along with a copy next week and it'll get a 9.9.
I don't think that's going to happen with this book. I don't think there's enough of them to do that. Um, I mean, maybe they really press the crap out of a 9.2 and yeah, but I don't think so. Okay, is that the first five?
That is the first five, Alan, yes.
Oh wow. Okay, so if you really want to see some big books, I mean really big books, you got to go over to Mark's channel and check out the next ones on the list. They are just, it goes to the next level. It's just the next level of awesome big books. I mean, these were pretty great books, I think. We're seeing one of one sales. Just pretty amazing stuff. So go over to Mark's channel and check it out. Bye for now.
Bye.